And the song Blood Brothers Revenge, I
I know
actually
someday
cover.
you're going to get to a new decade, Jay. I mean, we're bogging down here in the old
Like,
shit. But if that's where you want to be, I'm not. You know, it's your show. I got 10 minutes left. I think we did just make a record called Jenkem that's a classic, and the one before that. I mean, what's cool about Jenkem is that it's a very straightforward punk album like these ones you're describing. And so I think old fans would like that if they bother listening to it. But prior to that, we did a very sprawling, every different genre, heavily produced, Josh Freese on drums kind of record called the Dwarves Concept Album, which is like that very complex, heavily produced side of the Dwarves, which is really a lot different. But again, there's always a couple hardcore songs, so we never totally turn our back on Blood Guts and Thank Heaven. But it's like, well, but we can do this too. We can do that too. Here's a pop punk song with a female vocal. Do you enjoy that? Well, here's a down-tuned, weird new metal, stoner rock jam. Do you like that? We go in a lot of different directions with these albums, and it's easy to kind of get bogged down in nostalgia and go, hey, what was everything that happened with this album? But it's like the Dwarves have 18 albums out. And I really think I understand fans because I do this with some bands too, where I go, fuck, they made 10 records, but I only like that first one. It's like, fine. If all somebody likes is Blood Guts, I'm okay with that. At least you like one of my records. But I try and make records to keep your brain occupied, to keep you interested. And I never turn my back on the old nasty stuff. I love that stuff. So I'll talk about it, I'll do it. But it's like I'm promoting this newer thing because I'm excited about it because it's a good record. And all the reviews I'm seeing of it are people going, damn, it's like these guys never slow down. It's like, yep, we don't. We have the energy is there, and that's a kind of a rarity with an old band. So if you're fucking with the old dwarf shit, I would just challenge anybody, buy this new record and buy the record that came before and see what it does to your brain. You might just like it, or you might not, and you might go, fuck it, these guys were only cool for a second in the 90s. Okay, fair enough.
I'm definitely excited to get the new album. I don't like listening to albums until I actually have them in my hands. I've only heard the songs you put out music videos for. One of them is very
Yeah.
cinematic.
Yeah, so for Damned If I Do, that was interesting because like it's very much a straightforward hardcore album. But then right in the middle of it, I wrote this kind of 90s pop kind of song that was mid-tempo rock. I was like, fuck, you could hear this on a classic rock station. So we just went and made kind of a 90s guy video of it. We found a good young director in Hollywood and a bunch of cute chicks and made like a big cinematic thing for Damned If I Do. But then the rest of the videos are just these animated junky videos. I got a guy in Croatia that makes some for me, and a guy in Brazil that makes some for me, and our friend Lloyd Nickel, who's been following the band a long time, tour managing and filming. He made a cool video for the song "We Are the Scene." That's just us live, so you get to kind of see modern live dwarves with, yeah, man, it's just a fun record full of like these goofy videos. But then there's this one kind of serious song, love song, plunked right in the middle of it. That's kind of but it works. That's I think Dwarf records work in their totality.
Yeah, so how was this different from the previous albums then? Were you like working on any new songwriting techniques? Did you bring in more guests like you usually do? Were they writing stuff?
No, and in fact, like this was the first one where Snoopak, our drummer for the last 7 or 8 years, really got to show what he can do and play all the songs. Because I've been friendly with Josh Freese for decades, and if he was willing to play on your record, you're like, let's have Josh play on our record. And he played on a lot of them, starting with Must Die and Born Again, and that's where you see that quality raise. Um, but you know for this album, it was very immediate and direct, no real guest appearances much. Kate Vargas, who's a good female vocalist, kind of singer songwriter, she's the female voice on Damned If I Do. And then Mad Lucas, who sings with a band called the 666, she sings on a song called Too Messed Up to Mess Around, kind of a snotty, glammy vocal. So those are kind of the guests. But yeah, there wasn't a lot of guest stuff on this one. Whereas again, on concept album, it's just swimming in different people, guys from every era of the band, and different people coming in and doing different things. And like Must Die that you mentioned, I mean, that was like the king of cameos. We had like Nash from Urge Overkill, Girl, You'll Be a Woman Soon, and that stuff. Um, Along with San Quinn, the gangster rapper who lives on my block in San Francisco, along with Dexter Holland from The Offspring, along with DJ Mars, like a Wicca Wicca DJ. I mean, there was just like all these people that would never be on an album together, and all of a sudden they're all on The Dwarves Must Die. And again, when that came out, our fans largely rejected that album. It was very ambitious and it had so much interesting stuff. But a lot of our fans were like, I like the punk stuff. Fuck you. And it was like, okay, shit, I don't know what to do. I
Well,
mean, that
it's
song's
got
got
some of the
Dominator
fastest
on it.
songs on there.
Yeah. I mean, but it's got Dominator on it. It was one of the most punk songs we ever did. And fuck that bitch and go. I mean, it wasn't like we mellowed out, but then there's all these other kinds of songs. And Salt Lake City is very pop punk, and then Like You Want is very kind of rock and roll. So to me, it's interesting to hit all these different genres, but some of our fans really hate that, and they're just like, make a punk record, stop fucking around. It's like, okay, so you just never know how people are going to react. As an artist, I just have to try and make something that's going to keep me interested.
Yeah. Well, would you still feel confident in like picking up the phone and just calling Dexter if you needed him?
Boy, Dexter's been on five five Dwarves records and a Ralph Champagne record. I did call him not long ago because they were playing, and I hadn't seen them in so long. And I hollered at him. He's always very nice to me. He's just a great guy, and Noodles too. And they've just been very cool to me over the years. I really appreciate the time that they've given me. I mean, these are guys who riding a plane around and making multi-platinum records, and just they don't need me, but there he is. And they put me on the list. I went to the show, I hung out. It was just and what you're reminded of with the Offspring, how many great songs they've written. It's just like, oh, I remember that one. Oh, I remember that one. Oh, right, that one. Oh, wait, that one too. And you're just like, shit, dude, really? I mean, it's like an embarrassment of really catchy material that they've come up with over the years. And the thing I liked about Dexter too is that he always was he'd put in those little flourishes, sound effects. He'd put in a little riff, but then he'd have a guy going, keep them separated. It was like a little sound effect, and it was like a lot of punk bands, even ones I really liked and respected, like Green Day, where, that guy was a great hit songwriter and wrote these hit songs that were just undeniable. But Dexter would add that extra element of little hooks that really keep me going. You know what I mean? So I'm a fan.
Yeah, well, I just gotta say, I mean, I love the Dwarves a lot more than the Offspring. I think the Offspring are totally fine, but the
Me
Dwarves are one
too.
of my all-time favorite bands. So,
I hope so. I mean, shit. I think his ego can take it. He gets enough applause, quite a bit more than I ever got. So I think he'll survive.
yeah, well, would you rate this as high as some of the classic Dwarves albums? Like, are the old school fans just gonna love this when it comes out? Couple of days, I think it comes out.
No, it's out now. Yeah, it came
Oh,
out
it's
June
out now.
5th.
I thought it
Yeah,
was the
Jenkem is out.
17th.
I would say, basically the way I rate Dwarves albums is like perfect on its own terms. And I would give that to Blood, Guts, and Pussy, Young and Good Looking, Must Die, and Concept Album. I think they all achieved what they were attempting to achieve in a 100% way. And then there's other kinds of Dwarves records where I still love them because they're my kids. And I just think they are great records, but they're not necessarily perfectly organic circles that, like, oh, this makes perfect sense everywhere. I would put Jenkem in the, like, I give it a 95, not 100. You know what I mean? I can't, you know what I mean? Like, whereas Concept Album, I give it 100. I put so much effort into that. But, what's funny is I think Jenkem was the record that needed to come out now because it was an answer to that Concept Album that was like, here, the production's perfect. And, here's another naked Dwarves cover, but it's unique. And we did this and that. It's like this record was like, no, fuck that. We're going to put a cover on that looks like a 70s bootleg. And no, we're just going to use our live drummer because he's fucking brilliant and he's going to kill it. And, we're just going to make a punk album this time. So, I mean, Jenkem was really the record we needed to make right now. And I'm 100% behind it, but yeah, the ones that in my mind, it's like there's the ones that are sort of perfect on their own terms, and then there's just the ones that are a good album. I mean, when you talk about Born Again, to me, that's just a good fucking record. I love it. It's tons of great songs. But Must Die was like the perfect example of that. You talk about Thank Heaven, it's a great record. I love that record. But Blood Guts was the perfect example of that. So that's kind of how I look at it. My brain sort of works that way. But I think everybody should go out and get Jenkem. It's a real breath of fresh air for Dwarves fans. If you feel like we've been getting too sophisticated and too produced, check this one out,
All right, Blag, my man, I'm going to let you get the fuck out of here, dude. This has been another wonderful podcast moment for me. Can't wait to get the new album now. I'm sure it's going to be great. So thank you so much for doing this, dude.
Hey, we love you, Jay. Thank you for paying attention to this band. Thank you for asking us questions. We really appreciate it. And, send me a link, man. I'd love to see it.
Yeah, man. All right, we're done.
Big talking to you, man. Thank you.
Nobody knows but what they've been told. In ages of old, where did the Cro-Mags go? Some people wonder about magnets too, but I love you. Somehow I love you. Somehow it's true. Somehow